MusicFest 88, the largest event of its kind in North America. For some, this name represents a symbol of music excellence beyond most students' reach. For others, it's a chance to perform, compete, and learn from professional musicians. On today's show, we're going to highlight the Silver Heights Senior Jazz Ensemble and follow them through the past few months in preparation for that chance to perform and compete. In early stages, the bands must compete on a city and regional level. We asked music director Jim McKay about their chance of winning and then attending MusicFest 88.
Well, I don't know. I always hate to guess on these things. I think, well, we'll let them decide. These guys are super adjudicators. They know, so.
It all starts with dedication, hours of rehearsal, lots of hard work, the tension of the preliminary playdowns, fundraising, and many more hours of rehearsal. Then comes the excitement of the travel, and finally, the destination. It all comes together in Calgary, the host city for the 1988 Winter Olympics, and host city for the 16th Annual National Finals of MusicFest. No, I'm not Eddie the Eagle. I'm Lisa Atchison, at the top of the 90-meter tower in Calgary, inviting you to stay with Tommy Banks and myself for an hour of music, performed by some of the best young musical talents in Canada, at MusicFest 88.
You didn't think I was Eddie the Eagle, did you, Tommy?
Definitely not. I know that you're Lisa, the trumpet player.
That's right. I play in Silver Heights Jazz Ensemble from Winnipeg.
Ah, conducted by my good friend Jim McKay. We're going to be hearing more from that band a little later on in our program. This is MusicFest 88. Today we're featuring some of the best talent here in Calgary at the 16th National Finals. The 88 Festival represents the culmination of 16 years of dedication to the development of young musical talent. Originally, a group of jazz devotees who created the first stage band festival, this small assembly of Canadian musicians has expanded to embrace the Canadian Stage Band Festival, the Canadian Concert Band Festival, and the Canadian Choral Festival. And we'll be hearing from each of these areas today, and a little Dixieland as well. This year, more than 350 music ensembles involving more than 8,000 musicians proven themselves worthy of participating in the national finals. 8,000 musicians selected from approximately 500,000 young people from elementary, high school, colleges, and university levels to compete in 80 regional festivals across Canada for the chance to perform at the nationals. Almost every young musician in Canada who plays an instrument in a band or sings in a choir is involved in one way or another with MusicFest. In addition to performing at the Nationals, the finalists also have the opportunity to develop their musical expertise through a program of workshops and clinics headed by some of the music profession's most renowned artists and teachers.
Now, Tommy, let's listen to some music.
Good idea. Norman Porter is a music educator who's the director of the Cedar Junior Secondary Stage Band. They hail from Nanaimo, BC. They won a gold medal in this category. It's A401. That means that all these players are 15 years of age or younger. And here they are. very special category in the vocal end of things at MusicFest, in which a vocal group is able to demonstrate its versatility by singing 2 jazz pieces and 2 traditional pieces. Here's the gold medal winner from that category from Abbotsford, BC, directed by Jim Sparks. Here's Abbey Vocal Jazz.
Just let me dream that it's true. Kiss me twice and once more. That makes thrice. Let's make it four. Wow, what a break for heaven's sake. How long has this been going on and on? How long has this been going on? How long has this been going on and on?
We're going to hear some of the youngest players now from MusicFest 1988. This is in the category of A403 stage band. That means that these players are 14 years of age or younger. They all hail from Kelowna, BC. They're led by Brian Todd, who wrote this arrangement of Sunny. And the soloists we're going to hear are saxophonist Quentin Thiessen, and the young lady who sings this song is Stephanie Sloan.
Sunny, yesterday my life was filled with rain. Sunny, you smiled at me and really eased the pain. Oh, the dark days are done and the bright days are here. My sunny one shines so sincere. Sunny one so true, I love you. Sunny, thank you for the sunshine bouquet. Sunny, thank you for the love you brought my way. You gave to me your all. Now I feel 10 feet tall. Sunny, one so true, I love you.
It's not all music at MusicFest. We also get a chance to play tourists and take in the sights and sounds of the colorful attractions in great cities like Calgary.
Calgary's been just sensational. We couldn't have asked for any more. The people, I think, are still remembering the high that they had at the Olympics, and they're excited, and we're getting some of that spillage, and we're delighted with it.
Is this your first time at Calgary?
Yes, it is. First time ever.
And what kind of sights have you seen already?
We've seen all the Olympic sites. We enjoyed that. We had a bus tour the first time we got here. And the dome, everything. We can see why the Olympics was so successful. The people are so friendly here. It's great.
Good.
We had a good time.
What kind of sights have you seen since you've been here?
Well, our buses got lost, so we kind of saw a few views and everything. We went by the Calgary Tower and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting.
Sunny, thank you for that green that grows with grace. You're my spark of nature's fire. You're my sweet, complete desire. Sunny, one so true, I love you. Sunny, one so
money to go to Calgary has started. Our band performed many fundraising activities, including a performance at our school. We asked some of the MusicFest participants what they did for fundraising.
We did a lot of fundraising before we came to Calgary.
What kind of stuff did you do?
We did bottle drives in every area of Nepean that exists, I think, and some twice.
Cheese. We sold lots of cheese.
We did a skate-a-thon, and we raised a couple $1,000s from that way.
We held concerts and we had a fashion show.
We sold 8 tons of cheese.
Bottle drives, and we had a skate-a-thon.
We raised the whole package. Didn't cost us a cent.
Lisa, you play the trumpet in a jazz band. Do you really like jazz music?
Yes, I love jazz music in big bands and jazz combos too.
We are about to hear a jazz combo now. This is, in fact, the group that won the category for jazz combos whose members are 17 years of age or younger. They hail from Regina, from Sheldon Williams Collegiate, led by Brenda McAlpine. This is the Sheldon Williams Jazz Combo.
This is where the Olympic winners receive their medals. At MusicFest, it's not winning that matters most. It's being a part of the festival, meeting other people and sharing the spirit of friendship that we all experience each year when we gather for MusicFest.
Well, MusicFest is a tremendous educational opportunity for the kids. The whole focus of the festival is not directed at the competitive side, it's directed at the educational side.
Fantastic programs every night. We've heard so many jazz groups, they're incredible, and we've watched our fellow concert bands from Mayfield and other competitive schools. And it's been great every night.
I haven't really been to anything in many years that the overall spirit of the kids is great. And I mean kids that I meet on the street, I meet them in my hotel, and they really seem to be having a ball. I go more by that than anything. Although the organizers deserve great credit because everything's very much on the ball. You know, they really got their act together, really good.
We thought we would be a little bit smaller festival. We thought we were going to be about 6,500, and as it turned out, we're over 8,000 here in Calgary. And it is very, very exciting for us, as you know.
sweet. So sweet. Oh, so sweet. Oh, so sweet.
Russ Baird is a music instructor who's been bringing wonderful vocal and instrumental groups to MusicFest for years from Oshawa. Here now is this year's winner in the 201 Jazz Choir category. That means that these singers are 20 years of age or younger. Directed by Russ Baird from Oshawa, here is O'Neill Collegiate.
You know I don't lie.
Not much. It's been said she knocks him dead when she lands in town. She became one. It's a shame how she pulls him down. Fellas, she can't get our fellas that she ain't met. Oh, Georgia Graham, Georgia named her sweet Georgia Brown.
A quarter pounder with cheese, fillet of fish, a hamburger, a cheeseburger, with chicken and nuggets, tasty golden pressed fries, regular and larger size, and salad, shepherd garden,
Nor chicken salad, oriental,
for breakfast, egg muffin, hot cake and sausage, maybe omelet,
epic muffins, all 3 kinds of Danish, ice creams 2 and 4, dessert, hot apple pies,
Sunday favorite, soft circle, 3 kinds of shakes, and chocolate chip cookies,
and to drink a Coca-Cola,
Diet Coke and orange drink,
spread of coffee and hot chocolate,
also apple, orange, and grapefruit juice. I love McDonald's, good time, great taste, heaven, get this
all in one place.
Would you like that to go?
J.L. Kraft always aged his cheddar just right. It's not just how long he aged it, but how well. To this day, no other cheddar is aged like Cracker Barrel. Here you go, Jess. That's why no other cheddar tastes like Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel, aged like no other, for a taste all its own.
I can't see the difference. Can you see the difference?
No, I can't see the difference. Can you see the difference?
People can't see the difference between clothes washed in ABC versus a leading higher-priced detergent.
I can't see the difference. Is there a difference?
Price is the difference. With ABC, you can save up to 20% and still get your whole wash clean and white.
I can't see the difference.
Why pay more? Buy ABC.
Mom said I could stay. What's for dinner? Chicken and broccolis. Broccolis? They're good for you, Joey. I hate broccolis. If you don't know, Mom puts cheese on them. I hear broccolis make you smart. It It's all up here, kids.
Cheese. For Scott and Joey and you, it's always the answer. It's practically indispensable. So always have enough.
Cheese, please.
Getting our group together to work on rehearsing and fundraising is always difficult. Most of our group is involved with extra activities within the school. Some of our performers are involved with drama classes and are currently working on an upcoming stage play. This intense-looking group is practicing for their Reach for the Top national finals. The students are continuously sharpening their skills for the final competitions, and we are all hoping for their success. A full day of school may include many regular school classes, including English, science, and economics, but we still find the time to continuously rehearse. Today, artist-composer Ron Paley helped us out by giving us some tips on how to improve our performance.
Lisa, a lot of the musicians here at MusicFest play in more than one ensemble. I know that you play in the jazz band from Silver Heights. Do you also play in any other group?
Yes, I play a wind ensemble.
Like a concert band?
Yes, that's
I like
right.
concert band music.
Why don't we listen to a concert band from Red Deer, Alberta, under the direction of Maureen Stack. This is the Red Deer All-City Junior Concert Band.
Do the Greens buy new butcher bones even though they don't have a dog?
Peter.
Because they're made with real meat and bone marrow for the meatiest taste around. Butcher Bones by Milkbone, a tasty way to clean their teeth. Because your dog may be bored with the same old taste, Milkbone created Flavor Snacks, a variety of 6 delicious flavors in every box.
Flavor Snacks?
Flavor Snacks by Milkbone, a tasty way to clean their teeth.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
That's it.
it's over. We have nothing in common.
Never agreed on one thing. Ever.
Great. I'm too good for him.
I can do better.
I need to find someone.
More like me.
When you find something you have so much in common with, something so unique, so refreshing,
Hi.
you just can't stop yourself from grabbing it and holding on to it forever.
Tonight, Michelle Lee and Michael Landon host the 15th Annual People's Choice Awards, honoring the public's choice in music, TV, and the movies. The choice is yours. The People's Choice Awards, 9 tonight on DZTV.
Run away and join the great circuses of the world. Better yet, get there by bike. Everybody else does. This week from Mexico, join Mary Hart for Great Circuses of the World. BCTV 7 tonight.
You'll be smiling, you'll be laughing. Bring back those memories that we share. Hey, you're looking good.
Spring is
blooming at Black's. Everything in the store is on sale. Cameras, lenses, albums, frames, everything. Even special offers on photo finishing during the spring break sale at Black's.
Any way you look at it, Black's is photography. Black's is photography, guaranteed.
For many, a trip to Calgary is the first trip away from home. Piles of clothing, mascots, and suitcases mound as they prepare for the bus ride to Calgary. Excitement and enthusiasm is strong for the long bus trip. Others, enjoying the convenience of air travel, nervously await the entire group to show up for their plane ride to Calgary. Once everyone has arrived, it's onward to Calgary on a safe and relaxing ride. Nervous, sleepless nights catch up to our weary travelers as they sail through the clouds. Just the other day, Tommy, I saw my first Dixieland jazz combo right here at MusicFest.
Did you like it?
Yes, I loved it. It was really happy.
Well, most Dixieland bands play pretty happy music most of the time. These players are particularly happy because they won the category for those bands that are 17 years of age or younger. They hail from North Vancouver, BC. They're led by Bob Rabigliati, who's their teacher, and they are called the Mosquito Creek Philharmonic. The most advanced students and musicians we hear at MusicFest are in the open category. Most of the entrants to this category are from Canadian universities and colleges. Here now is the winner of the Outstanding Band Award in this category and of the gold medal, under the direction of Gordon Foote, the band of McGill University.
Clinics are set up and arranged to give the participants a chance to talk with professionals on a one-to-one basis, highlighting techniques and helping out with any problems that these young students may be having. This gives everyone a chance to improve their skills and receive detailed instructions on different instruments. These clinics were scheduled for the entire week, giving the students a chance to visit as many clinics as they wish.
There's a lot of clinics we went to on this afternoon on the new Yamaha products and a lot of the new equipment that can be used and how it's used, and that's really good too.
It's obvious that music education has come a long way, that these kids are able to ask the questions that they ask. Real technical questions about playing the instrument, about music in general, about improvisation, how to play a jazz solo, and you know, it just makes me feel very good to know that there are music educators who are getting them involved in these kinds of, you know, more advanced musical activities at such a young age. Really.
Ivory Purity. What's it mean to the guys who use it?
I don't want to take a shower with deodorants or creams or anything. I just want a simple, clean bar of soap.
The Natural Clean. It's pure ivory. Ivory Purity. What's it mean to the guys who use it?
It's good stuff. No fancy ingredients. So it gets you clean. You know, naturally.
The Natural Clean. It's pure ivory.
Nervous?
It's just a reunion.
Uh-huh.
It's no big deal. We were just good friends.
Right. So why the new dress?
Well...
And why this special antiperspirant?
Secret? Because it works.
Honey, it's strong enough for a man.
Uh-huh. But pH balanced for a woman.
You are definitely a woman.
Ooh.
Oh, and you smell so...
Fresh. My secret spring breeze. Perfect for women with jealous husbands.
Jealous? Nah. But just wear this.
That's awful.
Exactly.
Secret spring breeze. Strong enough for a man.
But pH balanced for a woman.
Look what's new, Duncan Hines. All in one dessert delights. Can't help myself. I love you and nobody else.
Introducing Dessert Delights. Get a mousse topping and cake mix all in one box with 30% fewer calories than our regular recipe cake and our frosting.
Can't help myself. I love you and nobody else.
Dessert Delights.
Woo!
For $11,589, you can bulk up a hard-body king cab with all these options. And we'll throw in this attractive carrying case for nothing. For $900 worth of options at no extra cost, see your nearest Nissan dealer now. The Nissan Sentra costs $1,000 less than a Honda Civic. And in terms of reliability, it has a much better health record. See your nearest Nissan dealer now.
MusicFest is made possible by many large corporate sponsors. We had a chance to talk with some of them.
Well, Yamaha's been involved with MusicFest now for about 16 years, and we've seen it evolve as a major force for music and the kids for Canada. And I think it's really a pleasure to see the youth of Canada being involved in the music movement and seeing it develop. I congratulate all the participants.
General Motors, through its dealer organization, is involved in every community across the country, and it's one way that General Motors and its dealers put something back into the community on a very meaningful and a quality basis. So it's an investment in youth, and it's also an investment in our communities across the country.
Christ told Nicodemus as a friend, man, you must be born again. He said, marvel not that if you want to be wise, repent, believe, and be baptized. Then you'll be a witness for my witness. You'll be a witness for my witness. You'll be a witness for my witness.
Anybody who's ever sung in a vocal group of any kind, from a duet to a huge choir, knows that there are few things more exciting than when you hit a chord or a couple of notes and they absolutely lock in and ring. It's the most exciting thing on earth. Here's one of the best vocal groups from MusicFest 88. In the category 301 Concert Choir, the winners of a Most Outstanding Award and a gold medal from McGee Secondary School in Vancouver, British Columbia, directed by John Trent.
She said, tell me where you stay. She talked so fast, Samson said, cut off of my hair. Cut it off! Make my head just as clean as your hand, and my strength will come like a natural man. Samson was a witness, Lord. Samson was a witness, Lord. Samson was a witness, Lord. So is a witness for my Lord. There's another witness. There's another witness. There's another witness. There's another witness. Another witness for my Lord. My soul is a witness for my Lord.
MusicFest supplies a number of concerts, staged for the enjoyment of its participants. Each year, it invites a number of well-known guests to entertain the students and to offer some new sounds to the enlightened guests. This drummer is Ed Shaughnessy of The Tonight Show, and we asked him if he was surprised at the size and spirit of MusicFest.
Yes, I was. I did not know it was such a large operation. You know, I said, well, it's pretty big when they called me up to come up here. But I'm really pleased, and I think all the parents should be very pleased that their kids are involved in something so great. I really do.
There's so much energy here with the kids, and it's growing every year, not simply by numbers, but just the power of their energy. And you know, you can just feel that this whole year for them points towards this event. It's just great to be a part of it. It's sort of been in a different capacity every year. This time I was doing a lot of clinics, master classes, and then just did a solo bit with the Berkeley All-Stars. So that was a different kind of venue and a lot of fun.
Keep your sunny side up, hide the side that gets blue. If you have 9 sons in a row, baseball teams make money, you know. Keep your funny side way up. Let laughter ring through. Do stand up on your legs, be like 2 fried eggs. Keep your sunny side up, way up.
Here's a vocal jazz combo now in the category C201. That means that these folks are 20 years of age or younger. From Richmond, British Columbia, directed by Al Anderson, here's the Suspenders.
Keep your funny side up. Let your laughter ring through. Do stand up on your legs, be like 2 fried eggs. Keep your sunny side up. Funny side up, let your laughter ring through. Stand up on your legs, be like 2 fried eggs. Stand up on your legs, be like 2 fried eggs. Keep your sunny side up.
You know when you're a klutz and you get a stain on your favorite shirt? I hate that. Me too, so I really love this new thing called Stain Guard. It's a breakthrough. Now, we've all heard that before, but this really is a breakthrough. Wait till you hear what it does. It can actually help your clothes become stain resistant. Isn't that great? Yeah, stain resistant. It actually protects most fabrics so greasy stains don't sink in or set. Now watch this. Bacon grease on a polyester blouse. Now one side was already protected with Stain Guard, so the stain didn't sink in, it washed right out. Impressed? I'm impressed. Now guess where you can get Stain Guard? Ta-da! New Bounce with Stain Guard. So not only will you get clothes that are soft, fresh-smelling, and static-free, but after just a few dryings, it'll help protect your clothes. So stains may get on, but they don't sink in. And you can't get that from a liquid softener.
Okay, head and shoulders.
Forward. First word.
Toss. Fall.
What is it? Flip hat. Yeah, a flip hat.
And
fresh. Yeah. No, fresh nose.
Head and Shoulders with a handy flip hat and a fresh nose.
Fresh scent.
Oh, you need something to work on that coldy sore throat.
Sure do.
Vicks helps, because Vicks brings soothing relief to stuffy noses, sniffles, coughs, colds that won't let you sleep, and sore throats. Like Vicks Menthol Throat Drops.
Tastes good.
Feel them dissolve slowly into an anesthetic syrup and soothe that sore throat. Calm those harumphs and make you feel like someone cares. 'Cause someone does. Vicks Soothing Cold Relief.
Get your hot dogs, peanuts, fax machines.
Hey, you want to buy a fax?
Seems like everyone's selling fax machines these days. But only Bendor Verster offers you the full range of Canon fax machines, including plain paper models. And only Bendor Verster gives you the support of Vancouver's most professional office equipment specialists. Canon fax from Bendor Verster. Anything else is out to lunch.
You got your BENN.
Quality of performance at MusicFest just keeps getting better and better and better every year. This year, it got so good in this category that a rare occurrence happened, a tie for the Most Outstanding Award and gold medal. This is the Class 201 Jazz Choir for singers 20 years of age or under, directed by Frank and Ant, Lethbridge Collegiate Institute Jazz Choir.
She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. But she don't care. Don't know why she's riding so hard. She had to think right, she had to do right by me. Before she gets to saying goodbye. She had to think right, she had to do right by me. Oh, I think I'm gonna be sad. I think it's today. That girl that's driving me mad is going away. She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. She's got a ticket to ride. She don't care. My baby don't care. My baby don't care. My baby don't care. My baby don't care.
These vocal groups are warming up in preparation for performing and competing in just a few short minutes. Each group understands the importance of putting on a good performance, and each is trying to do their best. This is the last chance the music director has to make any adjustments and to create enthusiasm within the group. It is a nervous time for these performers, and signs of support, strength, and prayer is shared by all. Now it's Silver Heights' turn to warm up and to join everyone together in unison to perform the best they can. This is the Silver Heights Band performing and being judged. We asked some of the MusicFest participants what they felt the judges were looking for.
Personal appearance, our tone quality, our intonation, our technicality.
The first couple of years we came here, I thought, well, we'll play challenging charts and really tough stuff and show that, you know, young bands can play tough charts. And I think my philosophy has changed. I find that you have to go back to the basics, that music is sound. And if you're going to listen to music, it better sound nice. And it doesn't matter what you're playing. It's got to have a nice sound. So we work a lot on tone, a lot on individual tone and tone blend, so that when you listen to the band,
you're comfortable. You sit there and you go, oh, that sounds nice. And that's just the first step. You know, that whatever notes you're playing, you got to play the right notes, you got to play it in the style and all that. But the fundamental thing is that music is sound, and it's got to sound good.
You met Lisa earlier. We're going to hear the band now in which she plays. These people come from Winnipeg, from Silver Heights Collegiate, a high school in that city. And once again this year, they have won the outstanding band in their category and a gold medal. From Winnipeg, Silver Heights Senior Jazz.
Once all the bands have performed and been judged, the scores are calculated, and then there is an award ceremonies night, where they award scholarships and performance awards. Our Silver Heights band was anxiously awaiting while the winners of their category were announced.
Silver Heights Senior Jazz Ensemble, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Jim McKay.
A proud Jim McKay accepts the Gold Award and the Most Outstanding Jazz Band Award and brings to a peak years of hard work and dedication.
That about wraps up our show. We hope that you've enjoyed the music as much as we have. Lisa, thanks for your help. Will you be back next year?
I certainly hope so, Tommy.
So do I. Good night from MusicFest 88.
This is CTV.
Climate in Hawaii just got hotter.
Is Jake in some kind of trouble again?
Because even paradise needs a little law and order.
They placed you in my custody. Is there a curfew involved here?
William Conrad and Joe Penny, Jake and the Fat Man, 9 tomorrow.
No two people are the same, so when you need a loan, you should get the loan that fits you.
My customers are as individual as the reasons for getting a loan. That's why being able to give you a choice is so important.
We've got fixed or variable interest rates, and I can show you how to pay it off fast and save you money.
You're doing us a favor when you choose CIBC. That's why we can usually give you the loan in 24 hours. Come on in.
I'll prove it.
Get us working for you. CIBC.
Sam started running. Not marathons, but he is taking things more seriously. And so am I. I buy more fruit and skip the cookie aisle, and I've switched from mayonnaise to Miracle Whip salad dressing. It has 39% less fat, 30% fewer calories than the leading mayonnaise brands. Plus, Miracle Whip has that tangy zip, and Sam takes that seriously, too.
Make a change for the better to Miracle Whip.
Tonight, Michelle Lee and Michael Landon host the 15th Annual People's Choice Awards, honoring the public's choice in music, TV, and the movies. The choice is yours. The People's Choice Awards, 9 tonight on BCTV.
Sam's nursery needed a new pickup.
Morning, Sam.
Morning, Sam.
And Samantha's nursery needed a new pickup. They both wanted a powerful fuel-efficient engine, extended cab, front bucket seats, 5-speed manual with overdrive, rear-wheel anti-lock brakes. And they needed a great price. Only $12,308 including freight and PDI. The GMC and Chevy compact pickups you want at the price you need.
Good night, Sam.
Good night, Sam.
From the GM dealers of BC. Oh!
Your favorite Corchesters preside, 4:30 weekdays on BCTV starting Monday.
The Weekend News Hour with Pamela Martin.
Good evening. More than 50,000 Quebecers waved flags and shouted anti-English slogans today as they marched through the streets of Montreal. They were demanding the return of controversial Language Bill 101 and the abolition of all English signs in Quebec shops. The demonstrators wanted to send a clear message that Quebec is and will always be a French-only province. But instead of angry, they were jubilant.
Thousands of Francophones began their trek at La Fontaine Park, where they condemned Premier Bourassa and called for the promotion of their language. They claim he sold out Francophones by making promises to both the English and French.
Monsieur Bourassa, il y a des problèmes de deux côtés, avec les anglophones autant qu'avec les francophones.
We don't want to throw English people out of Quebec, but we want to tell them that this is a French province, and I think they should speak French.
People not willing to learn French were urged to head down the highway to Toronto.
I got to speak English over there. Why they don't have to speak French over here?
As the sea of humanity marched through the downtown streets of Montreal, Quebec provincial police watched from above and on the ground.
The Quebec government may be listening to these people. A Le Devoir report says the provincial government plans to spend up to 50% more to promote the French language.
They called for the repeal of Bill 178 and the return of Bill 101.
Today, tomorrow, and for a long time, we want to in French, please.
All the people in Quebec have to speak and to work in French.
The throng finally arrived at Champ de Mars, where it was whipped into a frenzy by organizers.
Vive Montréal français et vive le Québec français!
The head of the Mouvement Québec Français, Guy Boutillier, called once again for Premier Bourassa to force all Quebec business signs to be French both inside and outside.
Partout dans tout nos commerces, partout à l'intérieur comme à l'extérieur.
Former Liberal Cabinet Minister Jean Chrétien says that Quebec Premier Robert Bourassa will be sorry that he ever brought in the notwithstanding clause to override the Supreme Court decision on French language rights. Chrétien says that it was a mistake and Bourassa will realize this within 5 years. Chrétien was in Vancouver today as a guest of provincial Liberal leader Gordon Wilson, who is running in the Vancouver Point Grey by-election on Wednesday. Chrétien is the fourth heavyweight to visit the riding during this campaign, and he was given a standing ovation by the party faithful who turned out to hear him speak.
Gordon Wilson waits for the guest speaker at his fundraising luncheon, a man who threatens to steal the spotlight. Jean Chrétien has been out of office for 3 years, and his popularity among Liberals appears as strong as ever.
Hello, Gordon. How are you? Nice to see you. Yes. Really? How are you keeping?
Very well.
Yes. Hello. How are you? Hello, Ron. How are you? Salut, Luke. Comment ça va?
300 supporters have paid $60 a plate to hear Chrétien slam the free trade deal and call for a change to the Meech Lake Accord.
Hello, bonjour, encore. Hello, how are you?
I want one amendment. Why they won't put that 4 words there? Even Van der Zam can understand that. You know, the charter shall prevail. So why not have one amendment? To guarantee to all the Canadians that the fundamental freedoms that exist in the Constitution are there. You know, I can live with a distinct society if it is in the preamble of the Constitution. But when they make it a condition of interpretation of the Charter of Rights, I'm worried.
The crowd likes what he has to say. Chrétien says it was the Western premiers who insisted on including the notwithstanding clause, but he predicts Robert Bourassa will regret invoking it for his French-only sign law.
When you use the notwithstanding clause, you have to commit, to accept, and admit that you're doing something unacceptable. You have to say, notwithstanding the freedom of expression, we don't want to have English signs in Quebec. And he paid the price for it. And in 5 years, I'm telling you that he will not use it again.
He's a great Canadian. We all love him out here in British Columbia as much as they love him in Quebec.
Do you think he should be leader?
I think that he would make a marvelous leader, yes.
Do you think he should be leader?
I think that's a good possibility, and I certainly would vote for him.
What did you think of Mr. Chrétien's speech?
Oh, I thought it was great.
Would you like to see him as leader?
Yes.
I asked him to come. He came at my request. He is a fine Canadian and a friend, and he is coming out to assist. So I don't think there's any overshadowing at all.
And is Chrétien running for the leadership now?
Because, you know, I'm out of politics since 3 years and 1 week. And people have kept talking about it all the time. And I never say never, because all those who said they were never to come back all came back. You remember Nixon? You remember John himself said he will never be back. You remember Bourassa, who said he will never be back. So I'm more prudent than these guys. I don't say never.
The New Democrat running in Vancouver Point Grey spent the morning with his campaign workers. This afternoon, Dr. Tom Perry attended 2 private coffee parties. Before going into the first one, he told the NewsHour that Liberal heavyweights such as Jean Chrétien would not help the local candidate win more votes. Perry says Chrétien has his own problems to solve in Quebec.
I don't think it's going to make too much difference to Gordon Wilson, but what I'd love to see is I'd love to find out what Jean Chrétien thinks about Bill 101 in Quebec and whether he supports the violation of the rights of the English-speaking minority in Quebec. I'd love to ask him the question myself, but maybe you can put it to him.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to say about that?
Well, I think he's been strangely silent on the egregious abuse of the notwithstanding clause in the Constitution by Premier Bourassa, which has effectively wiped out the rights of the English-speaking minority in Quebec. And I'd like to see where he stands on it while he's out here in the West.
Volunteers at the Socred campaign headquarters did some last-minute phone canvassing, but the candidate, Michael Levy, was not there. He main-streeted at Granville Island this morning, and he spent the afternoon with his family. Tonight, he'll attend a reception with Premier Van der Zam and Socred caucus members before they head into their 2-day meeting. The visit of Jean Chrétien tended to focus attention on the Point Grey by-election today, but the NewsHour also took a look at the last weekend of campaigning in Nanaimo, where things were relatively quiet. Or were they?
It looked pretty peaceful at the campaign headquarters of Liberal candidate Ray Brookbank. He's the long shot in this 3-way race. He and his wife are busy today putting up more election signs. Brookbank, a former alderman, isn't one to waste a Sunday.
We're out here on a Sunday. We're still campaigning. We're going to fix these signs up, and then at 1 o'clock, my wife and I are going out and go door knocking for a couple, 3 hours.
So you're not going to stop. You're going to keep going.
We're working right through till election day. Yes, by all means.
Why are you working? It's Sunday.
It's an election, huh? It's the best time to work. Thanks. See you later.
The NDP headquarters is a hive of activity. Candidate Jan Pullinger has tradition riding with her. Nanaimo is an NDP stronghold. But there could be a gender factor. The riding hasn't elected a woman in 40 years.
Our strength is the people.
We have a lot of people with a large membership, very enthusiastic membership, and they come out and work. They do the work. They knock on doors, phone people.
The NewsHour had been told social credit candidate Larry McNabb was taking Sunday off, but a party worker said different.
How come we were told yesterday and the day before that he was taking the day off?
I don't know who you were talking to. I'm the one that does the scheduling, and that's been on the schedule.
According to the campaign worker, McNabb was to be at the mall at 2 p.m. There were shoppers, but no candidate. We went by his house. He wasn't there either. We were told he did appear at the mall later.
A memorial service was held in Dryden, Ontario this morning for the 24 victims of Friday's Air Ontario crash. But as relatives and friends mourn their loss, investigators are no closer to finding out why the plane went down suddenly a short distance from the Dryden airport. The black boxes, which usually contain flight information, have yielded nothing, and all that's left is the charred, twisted remains of the airplane.
It was a day to mourn for the 24 victims of Air Ontario Flight 363. Hundreds joined in special church services to remember the dead, with many family members and friends in attendance.
It didn't matter what the occupation of anybody in the hospital, they all went to work in order to save life. That was the intention. We did not succeed on 2 occasions, and we are sorry for that loss.
Several survivors also attended services, offering silent prayers for the dead and to give thanks for being alive.
It's absolutely miraculous that anybody got out of that. We had some very good friends on board. Those 2 little girls, thank God, are all right.
The remains of all the victims have been removed from the crash scene and transferred to a temporary morgue. Many bodies are burned beyond recognition. All will be relocated to Toronto Monday morning to complete identification. Among the dead, Fred Gallinger, a Winnipeg business executive. His family intends to file suit against Air Ontario.
Obviously, an action is going to be filed in the Ontario court system, against whom and for what at this stage, it's premature.
The Canadian Aviation Safety Board investigation into the cause of this crash has begun in earnest. Heavy, wet snow was falling prior to takeoff. The aircraft was not de-iced. Investigators are also trying to determine if the F-28 Fokker aircraft was overweight. Pilot error or mechanical failure haven't been ruled out either.
I'm not leaning towards anything right now. I don't have any information regarding the possible causes.
The pilot and co-pilot died in the crash. The investigation has also been hit with another major setback. The so-called black boxes, 2 flight data recorders on board the aircraft, were so badly damaged, they're of little or no use to investigators.
Well, from that tragedy, we are going to talk about what's coming up in sports, which is a little bit happier, I hope. The Brier was completed today.
Not real happy if you're a fan of Rick Folk and his rink from Kelowna,
well,
but we will
Somebody
have
was happy.
That's right. We will have the highlights of that. And there's 6 games in the NHL today. Canucks with a night off, but 2 afternoon games, highlights of both of those, and 2 games this evening, including a big matchup at Northlands Coliseum, Edmonton hosting LA. Highlights of that, as well as golf, college basketball, and more coming up on sports.
Okay, and the News Hour continues right after this break.
In the beginning, there was man and woman, equal but different, because boys leak mostly here, and girls leak mostly here. So we created new Love's Deluxe for girls and boys. Love's Leak Guard system has a special zone, placed where baby leaks most. Up front for boys, in the middle for girls. New Love's Deluxe. Pink for girls, blue for boys. Boys and girls won't change, so we did.
Oh, 12 sausages got too rich?
No, it's all these greasy dishes.
Relax, we've got Joy. Joy takes grease out of the way and helps keep it away. Joy did it.
Hi, guys. Look what I found.
So wash it.
What? After 4 million greasy dishes? Looks as clean as the one you washed earlier. And my hands don't feel greasy.
I clean the dishes.
Yeah.
So you clean the fishes.
Joy takes grease out of your way.
The Chaotix. They have to sound good and look good 6 days a week. Acne problems can't stand in their way. They use Clearasil Daily Face Wash. Twice a day, 7 days a week. Clearasil Daily Face Wash cleans deep into pores, to remove oil and dirt and kill bacteria. Clearasil Daily Face Wash. Cleaner skin, clearer skin.
Front and center, Eaton Center. It's front and center in Metro Town. Enter the center into the future. It's fresh, it's new, it's got the style to put you front and center. Eaton Center. Opening March 15th.
Hello, I'm Pamela Wallen, and Monday on Canada AM, we'll talk to Trade Minister John Crosbie about doing business with the Bush administration.
Tomorrow in New York, a trial will begin. The U.S. Justice Department has filed a civil suit against the Teamsters Union, alleging corruption within the union and connections between the union and the mob. Late last week, Senator Ed Lawson of Canada, who is also a vice president of the Teamsters Union, his name was dropped from this civil suit, which includes other executives of the union. Senator Lawson is with us now. And can you first of all explain to us what was the deal that you made with the U.S. Justice Department to have your name dropped from the civil suit?
Well, let me background this a little bit for you, Pamela. The suit was, as you described it, against the International Union as a union and all of the individual members of the General Executive Board, and that's 16 vice presidents, 3 trustees, and 2 table officers, the General President, General Secretary, Treasurer. So it was aimed at all 21. And what the government alleged that they were going to do was attempt to put the International Union in trusteeship and remove all of the officers and disqualify them from running for office in the future.
Because of alleged corruption
Yes.
and connections with
And presumably they were going to prove all of this. But of course, unfortunately, under the American judicial system, you're guilty unless you're proven innocent. This is the way the system works. Now, each individual board member had to defend himself from these actions. In my own case, my legal costs to date are just a little over $100,000 U.S., and we haven't even got to trial, which is to start on Monday.
Basically, the deal that you have agreed to is to help the Justice Department now fight corruption within the union. Is that right?
That would be a fair statement.
In a nutshell.
Yes.
So then, now I understand that for a long time, in fact, when the lawsuit was filed, but even before that, you have consistently denied there was any corruption in the union. So how, isn't that a contradiction, that you're going to help them fight it?
No, that's not a contradiction. I have consistently maintained, and I speak, and was the director up until last year for Canada, and so my responsibility was Canada and the local unions in Canada. And I've consistently maintained that there is no corruption and there are no mob ties in Canada. And that's true. There's been those 2 cases. They announced, the Justice Department announced last year, they retained a Vancouver law firm to investigate Canadian Teamsters and myself for alleged mob ties and so on, or any mafia in Canada. And they were obviously satisfied that there wasn't a shred of evidence to support that, and that's why I was dropped from the case.
But even when
there have been cases. I don't want to attempt to mislead anybody. There have been cases of wrongdoing in the United States in the Teamsters Union.
That involve the mob?
Well, I don't know whether it involved the mob or not, but they allege it involved the mob, but it involved wrongdoing by individuals, and they should have been charged. Some were charged and some were convicted, and that's the way it should be.
So now you're going to testify for the government?
No,
Is that right?
no. There's no suggestion of that at all. If you read the Vancouver Sun yesterday...
Well, I'm asking you that.
Yes,
are you going to testify? No. Okay.
No. But then again, let me be specific about that. What Mastro, the U.S. attorney who brought this case, says is that there's nothing in this agreement that requires us to testify on behalf of the government. Now, the rules in court, as you may know, is both sides have to give their list of witnesses that they may call during the case. I suspect that we are on both lists, on the government's list and on the union's list, and may very well be called as witnesses. And if we're called, it won't be testifying on behalf of the government or testifying on behalf of the union. It'll be there testifying under oath to the truth of the matter.
So have you been given immunity from any charges? Or?
Oh, no, there's no such thing as immunity as such. This isn't a case where...
It's not a criminal case.
No, it's not a criminal case. It's not a case where you give someone immunity if he testifies against other people. It's not that at all. They examined the situation involving the 3 of us. They examined our record and found that there was nothing, no sign whatever, not a shred of evidence of any wrongdoing on my part and the other 2 with me, and so we were dropped from the case. Now, in the original charge, this needs to be said, Pamela, in the original charge, the only thing that they had specifically against me, in the overall civil complaint, they said that I was alleged to be guilty of mail fraud, that in 1976, the then president had an editorial in the magazine that said that there were no mob ties, and it was subsequently proven that there were mob ties, they allege, And so therefore I was guilty of mail fraud because my name was on the masthead of the magazine. So they had nothing specific as far as allegations against me in the first place. Now, the one thing I want to make very clear, there has been wrongdoing in the Teamsters Union in the United States. There has been wrongdoing in other labor organizations, just as much as there have been wrongdoing in members of the clergy and the lawyers and so on. Listen, we put more lawyers in jail every year than there have been labor leaders in the history of the labor movement. So, I mean, what I'm saying is, let there be fairness.
There's more lawyers than labor leaders.
No, they're not.
Oh.
No, they're not. What I'm saying is that you simply can't apply scattergun charges against the spectrum and say, oh, they're all mobsters, they're all gangsters.
But there must be some reason why the charges all seem to point to the Teamsters. I mean, like, no, you don't hear that about the IWA or...
No, well, we're the world's largest labor organization, as they say in here. We are the world's largest labor organization. And surely with an organization with 1,600,000 people, the Teamsters Union is about the same size as Greater Vancouver. Now, amongst the good citizens of Greater Vancouver, you report every day, we put 50 people a week in jail amongst the good citizens here. Why would you think, or why would I be naive enough to think that amongst 1,600,000 Teamsters, there wouldn't be some wrongdoers there as well? Certainly. Okay. But all I argue for is that fairness should apply, and if there are wrongdoers in the organization, they should be individually charged, they should have their day in court, and if convicted, they should be stripped from office, and the maximum penalty of the law should apply.
Do you have any concerns about your own security or the security of your family in light of these connections?
No, not at all. I've been a board member, a vice president since 1971. That's 18 years. I've been a representative for 35 years, and never, in my experience, has anyone ever come to me and said, now you must vote this way on this strike situation, you mustn't do this, you must do that, you must vote for this, or you must approve a loan here or do something like that. Never has that ever come before me.
You've never been threatened? Or...
Never been threatened, not even remotely. So no, I don't have any concern about that at all.
Okay, thank you very much.
John, Sammy, the Jag won't be in till Monday, sorry.
John, it's Dave. Looks like your boat needs a brand new keel.
John, Derek here. Sorry, but I can't make our squash game. Later.
There's one indulgence that never lets you down. Score. Rich milk chocolate with a crisp toffee center.
John, darling, it's Angela. Dinner's off. Derek invited me to play squash.
Score. Indulgence you can trust.
You got the magic touch. It makes me glow so much. It casts a spell. It rings a bell. The magic touch.
We asked the world's greatest tea lovers to describe the superb taste of red rose tea in their own words.
It tastes fine. It's absolutely straddling milk. And I think if I went down to the farm...
Absolutely spiffy. I mean, so right.
Unfortunately, we had no idea what they were saying.
Yes. Happen.
Until we told them Red Rose's unique blend is only available in Canada.
Oh. Pity.
Hear what you're missing. Turn on CKKS 97 KISS FM.
At IKEA, we didn't invent the affordable self-assembly shelf. We just perfected it. IKEA, Swedish for common sense. At IKEA, we're making it easy for more and more people to get into leather. IKEA, Swedish for common sense.
3 school districts may have reached contract settlements over the weekend. Kettle Valley ratified a deal this afternoon. 2 Fraser Valley districts, Chilliwack and Agassiz-Harrison, were expected to ratify by the end of the day. Now only 11 districts are left without contracts. But thousands of school children will still be out of class tomorrow. Abbotsford will remain on strike as the board and the teachers moved farther apart this weekend after a disagreement over information released to the public. No negotiations are scheduled, and 12,000 students there will be home again tomorrow. And in Langley, negotiations broke down this afternoon over the way in which issues were to be dealt with. The board gave 72-hour lockout notice last week, but vows to give a day's notice before locking teachers out. For now, 7 Langley schools will be closed tomorrow by rotating strikes. What promises to be one of the most photographed underwater attractions in the world was placed under the water at Saltery Bay, south of Powell River this weekend. Powell River is trying hard to become the sport diving capital of the world. Hundreds of people were on hand at Saltery Bay Provincial Park to watch the activities just offshore. The $50,000 project was conceived by Dive BC, an association of professional divers and related companies, to lure divers to the Powell River area.
Okay.
The object of everyone's attention here took 3 years to create. It weighs in at more than 500 pounds and represents more than 700 hours of volunteer work by the artist who created her.
Good. Now bring her down real slow. Fingers and feet out of the way.
She will be known as the Emerald Princess, and the betting is this mermaid will become one of the most photographed sculptures in the world once the finishing touches are completed. Simon Morris sells diving suits for a living, but his real love is sculpting. His mermaid is now headed for the ocean. Her underwater home will be Saltery Bay Provincial Park. Its clear water and bountiful marine life has been featured by National Geographic and Jacques Cousteau.
Holy moly! It's even bigger than a truck. Yeah.
The mermaid is already a major attraction, drawing hundreds of Powell River residents to witness her final moments on land. After today, only divers will be able to see her beauty. This is the second attempt by Dive BC to submerge a sculpture of a mermaid beneath the waters south of Powell River. The first attempt at a sculpture was cast in stone. It was a mermaid reclining on a bed of kelp. It was so heavy that when it was lifted 15 feet in the air, the chain broke, and it fell and fractured in 1,000 pieces. The $50,000 statue was cast in fine-grained bronze and represents 3 years of volunteer work by the artist. Does it bother you at all that only divers will get to see your work of art in the future, only people that can dive?
No, not at all. That's what she was designed for. That's where she belongs. Everybody that's seeing her on land is not seeing her where she belongs or the way that she will really look.
The statuesque mermaid stands 9 feet high, and her journey to the sea will be featured in a film to be seen by sport diving groups all over North America.
It'll be a unique sculpture. It's probably nothing in the world that even comes close to it. And so in that sense, we wanted to make sure that people were aware of it and give it the prestige that it deserves.
The Emerald Princess requires a light touch as sport divers help her to become the focal point of BC's newest marine park, which is being renamed Mermaid Cove in honor of her presence.
She'll float out there like a cork.
Yeah, for sure.
She's about 400 pounds buoyant, according to our calculations.
You lay her down on her front, and the finger's going to be...
And if we know anything about physics, she'll float.
The Warbirds from Vancouver complete an aerial salute as helping hands work to guide this bronze lady to the place beneath the waters of Saltery Bay she is expected to occupy for the next 500 years.
So let's keep people holding steady. Let's get all the ropes out of the way. We want to take her and turn her 90 degrees my way and lay her down.
Ironically, it is a struggle to get this mermaid into the water. She is hollow and needs a lot of help to get below the surface of Mermaid Cove. Now the struggle to nudge the 2 pins on the sculpture into the corresponding holes drilled in the rock beneath the surface.
Look, to come along, pull her in just a couple more inches. The pins are still out about 2 inches. And once she's in place, then we'll put cement on it and hold it fast.
After nearly 2 hours of pushing and maneuvering, the sculpture is finally secured. It's a happy ending for a long process.
Gary and Doug were on the bottom, just sliding, and suddenly she just slid in.
Just like it was meant to be.
And we ran out of air and came up.
How's she look down there?
Fantastic.
You pleased?
I don't know what to say. is placed so that the sun will be behind her. We'll get great silhouette shots, and we're hoping to get a lot of really good video and photography in the next couple of days.
Canadian churches appear poised tonight to follow their U.S. counterparts in the sanctuary movement, which has seen churches harbor refugees in open defiance of government policy. In the U.S., the sanctuary movement is spread across denominational lines, bringing ministers and priests into conflict with American law, resulting in prosecutions and convictions. Today in Seattle, a sanctuary church held a farewell service for a family of Salvadoran refugees on their way to Canada. On hand were representatives of 5 Vancouver churches who are sponsoring the refugees. Margot Harper reports.
University Hill Baptist Church in Seattle, a sanctuary church that is today saying goodbye to a family it has harbored. Antonia is leaving for Vancouver next Wednesday with her sister-in-law Candida and Candida's sons, all of them from the same village in El Salvador. All fled for their lives and are considered illegal aliens here. This church has been broken into, wiretapped, and its minister prosecuted for harboring them.
They are God's emissaries in our midst. They have come to teach us what we have really not known, the deepest meaning of our faith, the deepest meaning of courage, what it means to be a global community, a global family.
The family arrived with other refugees in a sanctuary caravan that pulled into Seattle on July 4th, 1985. Both sanctuary workers and refugees with faces covered to prevent the identification and prosecution that has become common. The refugees were welcomed by the congregation, and there they have lived for the past 3.5 years.
I have heard from others, as I've heard from you, about the planes that have come and dropped bombs on your villages, of the soldiers who have come and over a period of 3 years took 12 members of your family and slaughtered them, many of them before your eyes. When these young boys described to us what it meant to run from the bombs, to see members of their family blown away before them, how they had to stop by a stream, and there, Candida, you ministered to them as you tried to pour water on their feet, burned from the napalm that had been dropped while you were fleeing the bombing of the plane.
On hand is a member of Point Grey United Church, one of 5 Vancouver churches who will sponsor the family.
Las gracias.
I want to thank you
por darnos la confianza,
for having given us this trust,
porque las queríamos como familia.
And that we have loved you like a family.
Las vamos a extrañar mucho, pero
we're going to miss you so much.
Very serious call, a ring has gone out in Western Canada that the time has come perhaps for churches there now to consider sanctuary as we in this country have.
And do you think that that will happen? I mean, is that what you're hearing from there?
I am hearing at this point that there are many, many religious people in Canada who have called me and talked to me. I was recently in Canada this last week. Several people confronted me at that time and wanted to know, how did we begin?
There is a danger, and we're already seeing some evidence of legitimate Central American refugees being redeported, having arrived in Canada. And so, yes, there has to be a response to that from caring and thinking people. I don't wish to conjecture whether that will involve breaking the law, and I just hope it doesn't. But, of course, when you know the situation firsthand, you sometimes have no choice but to act on your conscience.
Business trips aren't always packed with travel choices. At Tilden, we're in the pleasing business. Our job is to let you make the most of every trip, with discounts at over 100 hotels and great rates on GM cars. like the Chevy Cavalier RS. Because at Canada's own car rental company, nice guys finish first.
There are calories and calories. A Tic Tac, for instance, has just 1.5. The kind you can burn off. Making dinner reservations, hailing cabs, breathing.
There's only one word to describe the sophisticated hazelnut chocolate that's a tantalizingly light sensation full of crisp, creamy taste.
Rocher.
Ferrero Rocher.
We need to meet. No, it's got to be somewhere discreet. Bay Street has ears.
He's leaving for London. There's
something heavy going down.
You're in London. Meet him at the airport and stick to him like glue. I don't care how you do it. I want to know what he's doing and why.
Hello, Mr. Cameron.
Good morning.
Your club boarding pass, sir. Enjoy your flight.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Good morning, sir.
I like your style, Jack. This'll do perfectly. Very well organized. But I have to think of my own people.
The way I see it, it'll be better for all of us.
Meet him at the airport.
A drink to celebrate.
Can I see him, Trev?
Yes. Very.
Club. British Airways Business Class delivers you ready to do business. Only from the world's favorite airline.
Sam's nursery needed a new pickup.
Morning, Sam.
Morning, Sam.
And Samantha's nursery needed a new pickup. They both wanted a powerful fuel-efficient engine, extended cab, front bucket seats, 5-speed manual with overdrive, rear-wheel anti-lock brakes. And they needed a great price. Only $12,308 including freight and PDI. The GMC and Chevy compact pickups you want at the price you need.
Right, Sam?
Right, Sam. From the GM dealers of BC. Oh!
The countdown has started on tomorrow morning's launch of the Space Shuttle Discovery at Cape Canaveral. And for the first time, the official voice of NASA at liftoff will be a woman's. The Discovery will be completing NASA's first full shuttle mission since the Challenger exploded more than 2 years ago. Laboratory rats will ride along to find out how crippled bones heal in space. And in the payload, a $100 million satellite.
The tons of steel which provided sturdy work platforms and a protective cocoon around the rugged yet fragile spaceship were still in place early this evening, but soon they will be rolled back, exposing the shuttle and announcing it's almost ready to fly.
And the bottom line is that we're ready. We're not working any major problems, and matter of fact, I don't think we're working even any medium-sized problems. So I think we're in good shape and ready to go fly.
5 men will be on board, 3 of them making their first commute to work in space. The 5-day mission's principal task will be to deliver a TDRA satellite to become part of a NASA communications network to link space vehicles and satellites with the ground. It'll be dropped off 184 miles from Earth, and then will use its own propulsion system to travel another 22,000 miles away from Earth.
This vehicle, with the one we launched in September, will give us 2 fully operational satellites that provide the coverage that we're going to need for the next 5 or 6 years.
Joining the 5 men on this flight will be 4 rodents, rats, part of an experiment to determine whether calcium loss in space hinders the mending of broken bones. The rats will be caged. Also, 32 chicken eggs are being carried in the shuttle. They're not on the menu, but in an incubator. How do embryos develop in a gravity-free environment is the question being investigated. It'll be the 28th launch of a shuttle, but more significantly, the 3rd since the Challenger disaster. NASA, once again, struggling to build an image consisting of reliability and safety. And as final preparations were underway for the Discovery flight, about 4 miles away, the Atlantis was being readied for its scheduled flight late next month.
British and Arab royalty are mingling in Kuwait today as Prince Charles and his wife Diana embark on a tour of the Middle East. Kuwait is only the first stop of a 7-day junket that will also take them to Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates. While in Kuwait, the Prince and Princess will officially open new commercial and consular offices of the British Embassy. The aim of their visit is to strengthen trade links through a heavy schedule of official engagements. The Vatican is still living in the shadow of a scandal that threatened to tear it apart about half a dozen years ago. Millions of dollars were embezzled. Roman Catholic bishops were implicated. Pope John Paul II refused to buckle under the pressure to punish members of his church, but it has come back to haunt him.
When Pope John Paul said goodbye to American archbishops, the most influential American at the Vatican wasn't there. He is Archbishop Paul Marcinkus, who climbed from the blue-collar churches of Cicero, Illinois, to this tower in the outer walls of St. Peter's, where he heads the Institute for Religious Works, the Vatican Bank. Once a sort of credit union for Vatican employees, the bank grew under Marcinkus, but was rocked by a scandal involving more than $1 billion in lost funds and murder and suicide.
So it has hurt us, there's no question about that.
Gerald Cardinal Carter, Archbishop of Toronto, is one of the cardinals who fired Archbishop Marcinkus, getting rid of his job in a restructuring that will put bankers, and not priests, at the top.
We always get the same response. How come you could lose $250 million to the Banco Ambrosiano?
Banco Ambrosiano was Italy's largest private bank in 1982 when auditors uncovered $1.4 billion in questionable loans to paper companies in Panama. Bank President Roberto Calvi fled to London. Days later, his body was found hanging from Blackfriars Bridge over the Thames. Italian investigators said Calvi ran the phony companies and that his files implicated Archbishop Marcinkus and the Institute in the fraudulent loan scheme. They issued warrants for the arrest of the Archbishop, who was a favorite of the Pope because of their shared Eastern European heritage. But Marcinkus stayed inside the Vatican, a sovereign country which never gave him up for trial in Italy. The Pope never even asked him to leave the bank.
Removing Marcinkus from his post and admitting his guilt and the guilt of the Vatican are the same.
No, on the contrary, we made it specifically clear that there was no admission of any culpability on the part of the Institute.
It's a case the Cardinals want to close. First, they paid back 1/6 of the missing money in a deal to satisfy creditors of Banco Ambrosiano, which collapsed. The Archbishop is free to leave now because an Italian court ruled his risk of prosecution is over. But the Church's embarrassment over the damage done to its prestige is not over, and neither are its financial woes. This week, officials announced the Vatican's operating budget for 1989. It is $78 million in the red.
When Honda introduced the remarkable third-generation Accord sedan, it quickly became a leader in owner loyalty. And now it has achieved the status of Canada's most preferred automobile, which leads us to suggest there are few things in life more loyal than a Honda Accord owner.
Ever hear of oozeball? That's soccer in the mud, and what it does to my Jason socks. Ooh, those muddy, grass-stained, tough-to-clean socks.
When you've got the tough stuff, get out the best stuff. Tide. Tide gets the tough stuff cleaner than this brand, than any leading brand. You'll see the clean all through your wash.
Hey, champ, everything clean. Here we go again.
To get the tough stuff cleaner, trust Tide.
Aw, you need something to work on that coldy sore throat.
Sure do.
Vicks helps, because Vicks brings soothing relief to stuffy noses, sniffles, coughs, colds that won't let you sleep, and sore throats. Like Vicks Menthol Throat Drops.
Tastes good.
Feel them dissolve slowly into an anesthetic syrup and soothe that sore throat. Calm those harumphs and make you feel like someone cares, because someone does. Vicks Soothing Cold Relief.
Watch out, here comes the water.
Oh, what's all this?
Mommy?
Yeah?
I want their hair to be just like yours.
So that's why you've got the ivory.
Yep, it makes your hair shiny.
Well, yours too.
Why?
Why? It's simple. Ivory doesn't have a lot of extra things in it to stick to hair and cover up the shine. It just rinses away.
It's gone. mine.
Yeah. Ivory shampoo and conditioner. A simple formula for beautiful hair.
I love you.
Oh.
Hello? Dan, we've got a transmitter down at your station. We're on backup. Can you get up there?
BC Tel's Dan Elliott works with some pretty sophisticated telecommunications equipment. Our maintenance monitoring system can pinpoint a problem in seconds. Having the highest quality telecommunications is great, but you need top quality people like Dan Elliott to make it run smoothly.
If there was any culture shock, it didn't show. 16 young Inuit students took Vancouver in stride today, visiting a television studio to watch a children's show, the zoo, and even a supermarket to sample life in the temperate zone. It's all part of the federally funded student exchange program of Cambie School in Richmond. The Inuit youngsters are staying at the homes of 16 Richmond students who will in turn spend 10 days as the guests of Inuit families in Coppermine on the Arctic Circle in April. For 3 of the visiting students, the trip to Vancouver is their second major travel experience. Over a year ago, they visited China and Mongolia.
Life in Canada's high Arctic could be described as simple and uncomplicated. None of the seething rush of big city Canada. In the tiny, family-oriented community of Coppermine on the shore of the Arctic Ocean, people count more than things. So consumerism is a way of life that has to be learned by experience.
Put the money in.
Put in that one. Push it.
Push it in. Push it in. Just push. Yeah. Just push it.
Jason, George, and Amos are experiencing the main event of suburban living, a trip to the supermarket. They're part of a group of 16 Inuit students visiting Richmond on an exchange program.
We thought we'd bring the boys out here so that perhaps they could choose some of the groceries that they, would enjoy eating and find some foods that look familiar to them. We've opened up our cupboards at home, and Amos kind of looks sheepishly and wonders what there is there for him. So this way, they'll have a chance to choose what they want to eat.
So the search begins for survival supplies to last over 10 days. Popcorn, as any kid will tell you, is a must. Then, of course, vital to any growing boy are carrots. Carrots? Supplemented by chocolate chip cookies, nibbles, and Smarties. For some of these kids, this trip is not the culture shock it seems. A year ago, their community raised $50,000 to send some of them to China and Mongolia.
People say that a long time ago, the Mongols from Asia traveled to the Arctic and made it their home. They were hunters like us, and some people believe that they were our ancestors.
When our teachers showed us pictures of China, we thought the people looked like us.
That's how we got the idea of going to China. We wanted to see what it was like.
How did they expect you to do that?
We couldn't figure out how to get the noodles out of the bowl.
Or how to keep the sticks together.
It's a far cry from noodles and chopsticks to popcorn and pizza, but the students seem to be taking it in stride. The real culture shock may be in store for the Richmond kids who will visit Coppermine, isolated from the consumer-oriented amusements of urban life.
Our boy's going to be heading back up to Coppermine, and he'll be enjoying a trip up there and an experience of a lifetime.
How's the trip been so far? What's the main thing you've noticed?
More people. People in the cars.
Cars.
Just streets. Lots of traffic.
A nice place to visit, eh?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Would you want to live here?
No.
No.
Tonight for dinner, what's going to start the dinner?
Pizza. Pizza.
The impact of the Inuit cultural ties with China and Mongolia still hold top place in the memories of Amos and George. But then, they've only been here 2 days.
Well, a moist flow from the Pacific is going to cause clouds over most of the province. We can have a look at our satellite photo, and you can get an idea what it looks like. It's going to bring a bit of snow flurries and some rain for most regions, and even the odd thunder shower here and there and around it. So let's look at the regions. For Whitehorse and the Southern Lakes, it's going to miss you completely. Sunshine up there, highs to -10, lows down to -28. For the Peace River, mainly cloudy for you, highs to -13, lows to -20. For the Caribou and the central interior, it'll be cloudy with snow flurries. It'll also be windy and cold there. Highs only up to -3 and lows to -14. Not too great for the month of March. For the northern and mainland and the Queen Charlotte Islands, it'll be a few clouds and colder than it's been. A chance of flurries through some of the inlets. Windy as well. Highs about 4, lows to -6. For the Thompson Okanagan, it'll be cloudy with sunny periods and a few showers. A chance of an afternoon thunder shower. Highs to 11, lows to 1. For the Kootenays, cloudy with flurries, showers, and a chance of a thunder shower. Highs to -6, lows to -10. Finally, for the lower mainland, Vancouver Island and the Fraser Valley, it'll be cloudy with a few showers on Monday. Highs about 10 and lows about 4. Back with Barry right after this.
The heat is on. It's on the street.
Discover the fire within the Pontiac Grand Prix. Open the throttle in the V6 Power and discover how, with $750 cash back, you can get into a new brand of award-winning performance. Pontiac Grand Prix.
Pontiac, it's on the street. It's on the street. The heat is on. It's the Pontiac beat.
Wouldn't it be a good idea if banks made things easier?
Tell it to someone who cares.
At Bank of British Columbia, we care about making banking easier for our customers.
Bank of British Columbia, we make banking easy.
Now that's a good idea.
You know one thing I really don't like about some banks?
If you've got nothing good to say,
then we want to hear it. At Bank of British Columbia, we listen to our customers.
Bank of British Columbia, we make banking easy.
Oh, I like that.
Watch a beautiful new idea take shape. The new Lace Fantasies bra and lingerie collection from Playtex. Beautiful looking, beautiful feeling. Lace Fantasies collection, available at Sears. Playtex, where beautiful new ideas take shape.
Run away and join the great circuses of the world. Better yet, get there by bike. Everybody else does. This week from Mexico, join Mary Hart for Great Circuses of the World, BCTV next.
It's going to be kind of sad leaving this old place. I sure hope we can sell it without any hassles.
With Royal LePage, selling your home can be a lot easier than you think. Our InfoHome computer helps all Royal LePage customers quickly set the right price. And our home marketing program is a great way to help them organize the sale.
The move is going really well.
Walt Disney Pictures invites you to take off with the Rescuers. Two little heroes about to take on the wicked Madame Medusa and try to rescue Penny.
Put me down, Broden.
It's runaway fun and soaring Disney adventure.
Where'd everybody go?
On land, on sea, and in the air.
Charge!
Only in theaters, it's a Walt Disney classic, The Rescuers. Starts Friday at a theater near you.
And now with sports, here's Barry.
Thank you, Pamela. The Labatt's Brier Canadian Men's Curling Championship wrapped up this afternoon in Saskatoon, where native son Rick Folk, now living in Kelowna and representing BC, was the heavy crowd favorite. But Folk and his foursome had their hands full with the defending champion Pat Ryan Rink from Alberta.
This was Pat Ryan last year when he won the Brier, but he would have to get by the hometown favorite Rick Folk to capture his second straight championship. The match remained scoreless until the fourth end. Ryan took advantage of a bad shot by Rick Folk and scored one to take the lead. But Folk came right back in the next end with a nose hit on the shot stone in the 4-foot ring, and the match was tied at 1 at the midway point. In the sixth end, here's a marvelous shot by Ryan. With the last rock advantage, he gets the pair he was after and a 3-1 lead. BC closed to within 1 on this throw by Folk, but they still trailed going into the final end, where it came down to the final rock. Pat Ryan nails it to capture his second straight Brier with a 3-2 win over British Columbia, and will now represent Canada at the World Championships in Milwaukee.
In winning back-to-back titles, Ryan's Rink became the first team to do so since Don Duguid did the deed 18 years ago, while in Brandon, the Canadian Mixed Championships are underway. Alberta, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and the Territories all winning their first-round games, while BC and PEI received a bye. With hockey now, first at the collegiate level in Edmonton, where the Alberta Golden Bears won the Canada West title with a 3-1 victory over Calgary, taking the best of series 2-1. And another pretty good matchup in Edmonton today as the Oilers are playing host to the LA Kings, and it didn't take long for the fireworks to break out in this one. 36 seconds into the period, Dave Brown takes out Jay Miller, just a sign of things to come as the Kings would open the scoring at 5:18 of the first period. Ken Baumgartner's first goal of the season beats Grant Fuhr 1-0 LA. Midway through the first, Oilers with a man advantage tie the game at 1. Craig Simpson's 33rd past Kelly Harudi. 1-1 after 1. Early in the second, LA gets that one back. Luke Robitaille 2-1 Kings, but later in the second, Yari Curry would score to tie the game at 2. They have now finished play in the second period. They're in the intermission, and it remains 2-2 Los Angeles at Edmonton. And a real shootout, a couple of real winners at Loser Peg this afternoon as the Jets on top of the Maple Leafs by a score of 7-5. And at the stadium in Chicago, it's the Blackhawks leading the Penguins 3-1 midway through the second period. Pittsburgh in the power play move within 1. Coffey and Zalapsky assist on Lemieux's second of the game, 69th of the season, 3-2 the score. Less than a minute later, Chicago with a man advantage. They give it away to Mario Lemieux on the point. A big mistake, guys. He scores the hat-trick goal, his 70th beats Chevrier, ties the game at 3, but not for long. Only 10 seconds after that, a power play goal by Adam Creighton, his 20th, 4-3 Blackhawks. Later in the period, Bob Aries scored his first of 2 to tie the game at 4. Then 42 seconds later, Pittsburgh takes the lead on Kevin Stevens' 6th. From Lemieux, it was 5-4 after 2. 6-5 the final. Great way for Lemieux to break out of a slump. Figuring in all 6 Pittsburgh goals, 3 goals giving him 70 in the season to go along with 3 assists as the Penguins move into sole possession of second spot in the Patrick. They're now 1 up on the Rangers and 1 behind Washington. To the auditorium in Buffalo, Sabres hosting Boston. Home team opens the scoring with the lone goal of the first period. Pierre Turgeon's 31st beats Andy Moog, 1-0 Sabres after 1. Greg Haga tied the game, and then 3 minutes later, Sabres go back on top as Dave Andrzejczyk will put it behind Moog, his 23rd, 2-1 Buffalo. And late in the second period, Bruins would notch the equalizer on the power play. Ken Linseman's 21st behind Clint Malarchuk, that tied the game at 2 after 2. As 71 seconds into the third, Sabres connect on what proved to be the eventual game winner. Andrzejczyk deflects it by Andy Moog, his second of the game, 24th of the season. 3-2 was the final score. Sabres with an excellent record against the Bruins this season, 5 wins, 3 ties in the 8 meetings as Buffalo moves within 4 points of second place Boston. At the Civic Center in Hartford, Whalers hosting Philadelphia. Home team hits first in the power play. Jody Hull's 13th beats Mark LaForest, 1-0 Hartford before the end of the period. Flyers, though, were tied up. Rick Tocchet from Acton, his 22nd, would tie it at 1. And then later in the first, the Flyers take the lead with just 16 seconds left. A shorthanded goal by Keith Acton. It was 2-1 Philly after 1. Jody Hull scored a second to tie it at 2. And then they took the lead, Hartford did, on a goal by Dean Evason, but Tocchet came back to score it at 3. That's now a final. Philadelphia and Hartford playing to a 3-3 tie. And at the Met Center in Minnesota, it's 0-0 in the first period of play. On the basketball court, great finish to the CIAU men's final in Halifax. Victoria trailed by as much as 17 points with 10 minutes left in regulation to favored Brandon, but they whittled it away and moved within 4 at 74-70 with less than a minute to go. UVic's Tom Johnson steals the ball from Bobcats guard Joey Vickery and scores on the layup, 74-72 now. After Brandon's David Dominique was called for traveling, Vikes move down court, get the ball inside to Spencer McKay, who has his shot rejected by Patrick Jebison. UVic was expecting a goaltending call, but it never came, although they would have one last chance as Victoria's Kevin Otwell was fouled in the scramble for the rebound, went to the line with a chance to tie it. He did make the first shot. That moved them within 1. But on the second shot, the all-important second shot, Otwell would miss as the final 4 seconds would tick off the clock. Brandon with their 3rd consecutive CIAU title, preventing the Vikes from winning for the 8th time in 10 years and sending Coach Ken Shields home a loser in his last game as head man of the Vikings as he's taking over the reins of the national men's team from Jack Donahue, who's retiring. In high school basketball action last night, everything went according to form at the BC Senior Girls AAA Championships at New West, where number 1 ranked Windsor down number 2 Salmon Arms 63-54, although the Jewels' Camille Thompson was named tourney MVP, setting a new record with 129 points in 4 tournament games. Centennial, meanwhile, finished third with a minor upset over Abbotsford. Senior boys AA final in Aldergrove, tournament MVP Shane Rogers scoring 44 points to lead Agassiz to a win over John Bardsley of Nanaimo. And at the Junior Boys Championships in Maple Ridge, great night for local teams as Westview finished first with Pitt Meadows winning the bronze medal game. And turning to golf now, battle of the Titans at the Nestle Invitational in Orlando, Florida. Tom Kite and Davis Love, the third, tied for the lead on the 18th. Kite hits his approach in the lake, while Love, he lofted his second shot over the green into the gallery. A couple of great players on this day. They're fighting it out for over $100,000. Kite then pitched on in 4, but had this bogey putt. 15-footer, he missed. He had to settle for a double bogey. That meant all Love had to do was sink a 3-footer for a bogey, and the title was his, but he missed it. So they went to a sudden death, fittingly, sudden death. Both made pars in the first extra hole. Kite's approach made it to the fringe in the second playoff hole, while Love was on the green, so Kite would tap in. The latter, though, with 3-putt. After being on the green with his second shot, he misses this par attempt, gave the title to Kite by default. The tournament nobody wanted to win was worth $144,000. Love has to settle for $86,000 and change, more than either one deserved on the day. Curtis Strange, with the best round of the day, finishes alone in third, while Dave Barr had a closing 72 to take home just over $44,000. In other action, Bruce Crampton had a final round 69 to win the Seniors Arizona Classic by 1 shot over Bobby Nichols. There was a 3-way tie for third with Dale Douglas, Lou Graham, Bruce Devlin, and Miller Barber, 3 shots off the pace. And anything we missed now we'll have tonight on News Hour Final.
Okay, I believe you. Thanks for being with us. Good night.
Favored Corchesters preside, 4:30 weekdays on BCTV starting Monday.
Great Circuses of the World, starring Mary Hart.
Hello, I'm Mary Hart. Our circus tonight is from Mexico City, the Ataida Brothers. You'll see great circus stars from Africa, Argentina, Brazil, Guatemala, Spain, and Mexico. You'll meet the thrill riders from Las Vegas, some big black bears from Texas, and for the first time on television, a new thriller called The Black Pole. So welcome to the magnificent Mexican circus.
We'll return after these messages.
For the special years of your life, a very special protection. Stay Free, with a stay dry cover like nothing you've ever experienced.
These are the Stay Frees. These are the Stay Frees.
Dr. Fred Susser, pediatrician.
There are things about new Pampers Plus I understand as a pediatrician, but really appreciate as a new parent. Not only have they made the diaper thinner to improve the fit, but see this little thing? It's called a moisture trap. You can see the liquid is absorbed very quickly. It's very dry to the touch, and it does stop leaks better than before. Any parent will appreciate this kind of dryness at 3 a.m.
All the dryness a mother or father can give.
This house is so dirty. How will I ever get it clean?
Spick and Span is incredible.
Other liquids or sprays can't compete with Spick and Span liquid on this bathtub ring. Used full strength, Spick and Span liquid starts dissolving dirt on contact. A quick rinse, and Spick and Span is a clean winner. On sinks. On tiles. Spick and Span liquid starts dissolving greasy grime on contact, so you can wipe out dirt in a flash.
Watch out, here comes the water.
Oh, what's all this?
Mommy?
Yeah?
I want your hair to be just like yours.
So that's why you've got the ivory.
Yep, it makes your hair shiny.
Well, yours too.
Why?
Why? It's simple. Ivory doesn't have a lot of extra things in it to stick to hair and cover up the shine. It just rinses away.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Ivory shampoo and conditioner. A simple formula for beautiful hair.
I love you.
Oh.
was over 60 years ago that the three Ataida brothers opened their first circus in Mexico City. However, during those first 3 years, 2 of the brothers were killed in accidents, one kicked by a horse, the other falling from a trapeze. But the last brother persisted, and today his grandchildren, the 3 brothers Andres, Alberto, and Alfredo, present Mexico's top circus. It begins with a member of an old Mexican circus family, Rudy Verte. Notice the music. It's not traditional circus or Mexican music. All 3 of the Ataida brothers love the Broadway musicals, so they use the music from Cats, Phantom of the Opera, and Starlight Express as background for the acts. The audience may not always notice, but it does sound different. James Hall is a Texan who says he has to live way out in the country, away from neighbors, because he lives with some very large bears. Notice this act is an uncaged act. There's nothing separating the audience from the animals. Big Jim and his wife Petra control a couple thousand pounds of bears with just muzzles and a leash.